clearly impounded cars. And so a number of them have expressed willingness. Actually, some have already given us DR forms because, as you know, police is still holding on to, and the military, they're still holding on to many of our DR forms. So our colleagues are availing some of these, but also a number of them have sworn affidavits, chronicling what happened, where they were, what they saw, the fraud, etc., etc. So we are very much working in unison as the forces of change because our goal is ultimately the same. Charles also asked about the impounded the impounded cars. SG will elucidate some more, but here's how they were brought back. They were driven here, really. But more seriously, our insistence has been that, one, the people that were arrested in Kalangala committed no offense whatsoever, including everything that they had with them, the cars, etc., etc. These were people that were part of the campaign team of a legally registered and nominated presidential candidate. He's entitled to have a team to go out with, Some were actually part of our medical team, nurses and so on. Of course, the security team, some journalists, freelance and otherwise. So these people committed no offense as far as we are concerned. And that's why eventually they were granted bail, but of course the state wanted to keep holding on to them. So they trumped up these charges, and now they are in the court-martial. Our insistence is they're innocent, okay? These cars are not going to commit an offense. Little wonder they are back here. And again, we are hoping that everything that was taken that was in cars gets to be released. You did see our vice president in charge of Central Region, Robo Mpuga, to whom the cars were handed over, clearly stating a number of things that were missing. So there are phones that are still missing, bags and other property. These things we are hoping will be availed to the rightful owners. But we don't want it to stop at the cars. The cars have been brought back. But the people who were in the cars are still being held by the state illegally. We are saying these people are innocent, they have committed no offense. Okay? For heaven's sake, wanting change, siding with one presidential candidate who is not the incumbent is not a crime, like Mr. Tibuhabura is trying to make it seem. So we insist that they are innocent, and we are hoping, like the cars were let go. These people, I'll finally attempt Chitimbo's questions, and then the harder ones, of course, were to our president. So me, I'll deal with these small ones. Then Mr. President will, Chitimbo asked, what if court dismisses the petition? Our SG has really elaborately talked about that. We are going to court as one of the avenues, legally provided for avenues, for us to challenge the fraud that this election was. Some people did ask us, so why are you going into an election yet the Electoral Commission is constituted by Mr. Tibuhabura? We said we must do everything possible to keep fighting until we attain freedom. And so this is another of those avenues. We are going to court. Yes, we know what the court, this same court, has ruled in the past, but we are saying the fight must continue. Look, when South Africans were fighting against apartheid, apartheid was provided for within the law. Illegal, draconian, backward, antiquated as it was etched within their laws. But they said we must keep fighting. And that's what we're doing. When blacks were fighting against slave trade in Europe and the West generally, it was etched within their laws. It was law, legally acceptable. But they said no, even though it's legally acceptable, we shall fight it. They fought it in court, they fought it in parliament, they fought it using every legal avenues until they eventually won. So we are saying we must keep fighting, using every means available within the law. The question of staying at home, so many of you reached out to me in the media yesterday and saying, so we hear you people are saying people should stay at home starting Wednesday. And I said, where did this come from? When did you hear any of us, the leaders, tell people that now on Wednesday you're going to stay at home? Actually, tomorrow we don't want them to stay home. We want them to come out and vote, because there's still elections going on, and our president will reiterate that. There's still elections going on. We still urge our people to come out and vote for our flag bearers. The rumor that has been going around, that yes, NUP is planning violence and all of that. Our thought actually is that all of this is being planned by police, the military, and the state for that matter. I mean, they're very capable of these things. If they can get guns and plant them and trump up charges, on. They did that previously for our president. They are now doing that for Nubian Lee Edimutwe and several others. They are very capable of this. You did see Mr. Tibuhaburwa, who conceded that Zebra was murdered by his very own people. And you saw the whole narrative about Zebra. We understand he had been asked, yes, so Zebra, get your fellow boxers, go to the streets, cause chaos. Start a fight, cause chaos, and so on. Then with the police, we come in and we target the NUP supporters. It's all out there. So when Zebra refused to do that, they took him out, they murdered him. So this, we believe very strongly, is a plan by the police, the military, and the state generally. We don't want to be part of this drama. We have communicated to the country what we are going to do. Whatever we want to do, we communicate. We have gone to court, we have communicated that very clearly. Everything that we want to do, we can. Because for us, we have insistently said, we are going to do everything provided for within the law. So whichever step we shall take, whichever action we are to take, we shall let the country know. So what we have not told the country, please don't impose it on us. Let those who are planning it, and we believe it is police and the military, let them explain themselves, because it's not the first time that they try all of this. And then Mr. President will come. Well, Chitimbo hinted on this, but the President will elucidate a lot more on this. In fact, I'll leave it for him, the question of NBS. But just so you know, we don't have beef with, we are not saying whoever has a tag NBS, whoever works with NBS is our enemy and so on. No, we are always with you people. We don't have a problem with you. But it's important that feedback is given to a media house. Now, does that mean that everybody from the gate man at that media house to everybody is part of the problem? You'll find that even the colleagues that we are usually with in the field from NBS probably have no idea. It's probably a small clique, whatever. But ours was to say, let's give feedback. Media houses receive feedback. You receive feedback from your viewers. You know, they tell you, no, this show we don't like, or this show it's happening too late or too early or whatever. Feedback is important. So this is feedback that we are giving as stakeholders. And our team leader will elucidate. Very quickly, Muluganda, because I know you will say kati now Muluganda. Kati nga NUP muli mukolagana mutya ne bannankyukakyuka bannammwe ku musango guno. Nja kubajjukiza nti bwe twali tugenda mu kalulu twabayita nga bannamawulire nga tuli ne bannaffe. Bannankyukakyuka bannaffe aba FDC n'ebibiina ebirala ANT era nga tugamba nti tugenda mu kalulu weewaawo tuli babiina byanjawulo buli kibiina kirina presidential candidate naye tuli ba Luganda ffenna tuli bannankyukakyuka twagala nkyukakyuka ne tugamba nti akalulu tujja kagendamu era tujja kukola ekisoboka kyonna okukakuuma awamu. So bannaffe tukyali nabo era tuwayizaamuko nabo. Abamu batandise dda n'otuwa DR forms kubanga nga bwe tuze tubabuulira poliisi n'amagye bakyalemedde DR forms zaffe ezimu ze baawamba nga bakutte ba agenti baffe abaali bazirina. So bannaffe bannankyukakyuka bannaffe batandise otuwa ku DR form ze balina bo n'okutuwa ku bujulizi obulala. So tukolaganira wamu kubanga nabo baagala nkyukakyuka nga ffe bwe twagala enkyukakyuka. Era wabuuziza ku nsonga eya no, this was Chelsea's impounding vehicles ze bakomezaawo. Emmotoka tuli basanyufu nti baazitadde kuba ffe tuze tukyogera lunye nti emmotoka zino tezazza musango, abaazirimu tebazza musango, bali bagenze ne presidential candidate okukola campaign. Ogwo si musango. Candidate bamuwandiisa alina okugenda campaigninge, alina tiimu gy'atambula nayo ne baabakwata nga mututte n'abasawo bannansi be yali nabo part of the medical team. So tugamba ng'emmotoka be baazitadde kuba tezirina musango. Ne bannaffe ba Nubian Lee Edimutwe Dani Magic n'abalala bonna bateebwe tebalina musango gwonna. Kitimbo, yes, kooti bw'enaaga omusango munnaffe akyogeddeko SG waffe nti ffe okugenda mu kooti tukyali mu lutalo olujjako nakyemalira era ffe nga tugamba nti olutalo lwaffe lwa mateeka tujja kukola buli kikkirizibwa mu mateeka okulaba nti nakyemalira tumujjako. Waliwo abatubuuza nkakati mugenze mu kalulu, akalulu ani akategese byabakama ani yamu obuyinza Museveni kati lwaki mugendayo? Tugamba tujja gendayo kubanga olwo lukyagenda mu maaso paka nga nakyemalira avuddeko. Tujja kukola ekisoboka kyonna nga tuyita mu mateeka. Era Kitimbo wabuuziza nti yes, ebiza ebitingana nti abantu basigale waka. Ffe tugamba nti nga NUP okusookera ddala buli kye tukola kiri mu mateeka. Ate buli kye tukola tukibabuulira bannange. tubayita bannamawulire kati twabayise ntubagamba nti tugenze mu kooti kati bino ebiyitingana era poliisi byesibyeko nti kakati NUP bagamba abantu temuva wammwe wagenda kubeerawo simanya olutalo naki okusookera ddala ffe tukkiriza nti poliisi n'amagye gavumenti bebapanze bino ebintu ono Kyagulanyi yali agirina nti ba Edi Mutwe bandi bonna be babadde nazo ba Nubian Li n'abalala ne babijingirira so ne kino tukkiriza nti poliisi n'amagye be babijingiridde okuteekawo embeera bakwate abantu baffe Mwai Museveni yabagamba juzi nti zebra ono ensonga ze muze muzitegeera poliisi n'amagye bamugamba nti kakati kwata box abo mugende ku street mutandika olutalo abantu batandika okulwana naki ffe tujjewo betukwate betwagala okukwata aba NUP zebra bwe yagaana ne bamulyawo ne bamutta so kati bino byonna poliisi n'amagye be babipanze ffe ebyaffe buli kye tukola tubulira eggwanga nti kino kye tugenda okukola so betutwogedde ffe ng'obukulembeze bw'ekibiina bane temubitusibaako mwebale nnyo. Let me invite our Secretary General.
At our office. Ordinarily, this press conference should be at our head office in Kamocha. But as you know, since the 15th day or thereabout, our office has been under siege. Even on the 16th, when we went there and did just the final activity we had there, it was already surrounded. And so we've not been able to access our offices. Since that time, we've written protest letters to the Electoral Commission. We've written to the Inspector General of Police. But we know that they also wait for orders from somewhere. And that is what we've seen in this election. Every time you go and meet the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, he seems unsure. He has to wait for whatever, and then you go to these police officers. Yesterday, you saw what happened at the court. It was very clear that the General Court Martial was trying to buy time to probably get instructions elsewhere. So we are going to use all legal avenues, and indeed we are filing a case about the siege at our office. Many of the things, and if you read through the petition that we've taken to the Supreme Court, the lawyers will tell you that a lot of documents which we would have needed to attach are at our office. We do not even know if they are still there because these people have had access to the office. Maybe they might have entered and stolen some of them like they did with our signatures at some point. So we do not know what is there, but we are going to court to demand that they vacate our office. NUP is a registered political party which is free to operate in this country. So the continued blockade on our office is illegal, is unconstitutional, is uncalled for. But it is a sign of fear. These people fear us. They fear the people. They don't fear us because we are violent. No, they fear us because we represent the people and we represent the values that we stand for. The other person asked about the number. I will repeat it. It's 0701 458 299. Missing person countrywide, please send their names and details to those numbers. Indeed, today I think we've received over 100 people who are sending in their pictures of their relatives. I mean, that's what has been happening everywhere we go. We are bombarded by people who have been coming here at our principal's home to report their missing persons. You can imagine, because there are so many, and maybe that also answers the question about the specific numbers of the missing. It's very difficult to tell when you just hear that, you know, for example, our candidates, some of who are here, and our MPs who went through, and other leaders at different levels will keep telling you, in my place they took 20 young people last night, they took 40, they took, and so it's very difficult to even know. And that's why we put in place a number on WhatsApp where people can send these details, and our job is to verify whether that information is accurate, and then we take the necessary steps. Of course, you comrades remember what happened. We started a human rights desk which had started gathering evidence of all these crimes against humanity. And every day they were recording people. I mean, people were coming to our offices in dozens to tell us about their missing persons, about people who had been murdered. And what did they do? They arrested our human rights officer together with Counsel Nicholas Opio at the time, as you remember, and they took away all the work that they had done, but good enough some of it was saved. So our human rights desk, even now, should be sitting at our office it's not been able to do that. That's why we are working virtually through the WhatsApp numbers and other means. Somebody asked about the impounded cars. Of course, these cars, just like the cars which the state has held onto in Arua, are not supposed to be there. First of all, there have been no crimes committed whatsoever. Now, these cars kept in Kalangala, and you see they are messed up. There were many gadgets in there, the phones, laptops and all that. All those are missing. We don't know where they are at the moment. So we've continued to work through our lawyers to demand that they release the cars. They are here. We're still trying to assess the damage and then to see what will happen after. I think some people are continuously asking this question about what if the courts do not rule in your favor, what will you do? I think our president has answered this question very well. He talked about it. Ours is a struggle for liberation. And in the struggle for liberation, there are very many pieces. There are many stages, there are many pieces. We had a phase where we participated in an election. That phase is now past us, although we are demanding, we are continuing to demand to reclaim our victory. And the first step towards reclaiming that victory, we have said we are going to court. But we have also said that we are going to use all other avenues within the law to reclaim the power of the people of Uganda. If you look at Article 3 of the country's constitution, it gives the right to citizens to use all means to defend the constitution and to make sure that the constitution is not abrogated, illegally violated, and the kinds of things we are seeing. So the going to court is just one of the steps that we are looking at in this struggle. And we encourage all citizens to take interest in this case. Make sure that you follow the proceedings. And those who have evidence, we have also asked them, and we thank all those who have sent all manner of evidence to these numbers that we've been putting out there. Incredible things which happened on the 14th and even after that time. So we continue to encourage you to send in those, and then we know eventually that victory will be on our side. Ofisi yaffe ekyali mu Buwambe abasirikale bagisalako kati okumala weeks nga 2 oba weeks nga 2 tetusobola ku accessing office yaffe Kamocha chovola batukolera wano byetukola press conference eno yali badde Kamocha naye tetusobola kugendayo kubanga abapoliisi bagisurroundinga n'amajenga ko gatwalidde era Court ensukulumu oba Supreme Court tukitegezeza nti obujulizi obumu bwe twali agade kusindikira ku musango gwe twataddeyo buli mu office yafeeyo waliwo empapula nyingi nnyo eziri omwo tetumanyi bazikyaliyo kubanga oba oli awo bazibye n'okuzibba already nga lwe batwala signatures zaffe n'ebirala naye ate tugenda mu kooti okuwaaba okulaba nti bavaawo kubanga ekibiina kino kya National Unity Platform kiri registered mu mateeka Electoral Commission ekimanyi bulungi nnyo nti head office yaffe eri Kamocha era tubawandikidde amabaluwa aba Electoral Commission ne police nga tubasaba bave ku office yaffe tusobole okukolerayo emirimu gyaffe kubanga wano tuli mu maka ga president waffe tetwali badde nga tukolerawo n'emirimu mu ggwanga eriri mu demokrasiya kubanga tulina ekitebe kyaffe otulina okukolera emirimu gyaffe. Waliwo abasabye enamba gye basindikako naddala abantu baffe ababuziddwako mu bitundu ebyenjawulo. Enamba eri 0701 458 299. Enamba osobola okusindikayo ekifaananyi ky'omuntu wo n'amanya ge ne bamukwatira then bannamateeka baffe bafollowing up tulabe bali. Era waliwo omukulu abuuzizza nti mumanyi abantu bameka kati abaakabuzibwawo. Estimates zaffe ziraga nti abantu 3,000 be bakakwatibwa naye ate tumanyi nti tetulina information emala kubanga buli lunaku batugamba nti kati drone ezewano ne picking ono wano bazze n'ekimotoka ky'amagye ne batwala abantu 2 wano ekiro bakoze operation ne batwala abantu 3 abasinga tetumanyi wawo gye bali. Bwogenda Kitalya abavaayo buli avaayo ekitalya kugamba nti abaana aba NUP abali Kitalya bangi nnyo babatwala wali ne babalimandinga tebabakomyawo mu kooti bali eyo abamu balwadde mulabe abazze mu kooti gyo abamu nga tebasobola kutambula nga babasitudde busituzi eddagala teririiyo betaaga specialized treatment abamu naye yembeera gye batambuliramu. Era twali tubategeeza nti twateekako desk yaffe ekwata human rights desk yali awandiisa ebikolobero byonna abasajja bano bakola ku bannansi, naye ate human rights desk yali agikulira baja ne bamukwata era ne bamutiisatiisa nga bwe mumanyi. Ekisemberayo ddala babuuza kooti bw'etasaalamu bw'etakansolinga kalulu oba bw'etasaalawo bye mwagala mujja kukola ki. Mukulembeze waffe akyogeddeko bulungi nnyo nti ffe eno struggle gye tulimu, ensonga lwaki tugiyita struggle tumanyi nti si event, kubanga woba olwanirira eddembe oyita mu mitendera gya njawulo, naye ffe tuli ready okulaba nti tutuukiriza buli mutindo gwonna era tubadde mu kalulu. Bannayuganda baavaayo ne balonda mu bungi nnyo, ne balonda change. Gavumenti nekola bye yali ekola, ne bakwata amawulire, ne bakwata ba agenti baffe, ne ba staffinga, ne bakola byonna bye bakola. Kati tugenze mu kooti nga step eddako. Eyo step bweba ezeeko kati tugiwe chance tulabe. Naye n'ekirala ekyo okugenda mu kooti tekitegeeza nti ebirala byonna abantu bye bakubeera okukola birina okuyimirira, as long as kyonna kyokola kiri mu mateeka era ssemateeka waffe bw'omutegeera bulungi nnyo waliwo eddembe ly'abannansi okudifendinga constitution n'okola ebintu ebirala bwe bityo. Kanyanirize president waffe addemu ebibuuzo bimubuziddwa era asibule abantu abali wano. Mwebale nnyo.
When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in a new Uganda. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. Everywhere. NUP. Mbarara. NUP. Thank you. Please take your seats, comrades. Pleased to see you in full strength, but most importantly, with hopeful faces and non-violent manner. We shall continue to discuss more in the absence of the media, but with the media here, ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate you. We know many of our colleagues actually won. Many of you have all the declaration of results forms confirming that you won. But as you have seen the regime behaving, they did not only do it there, they did it in very many parts of the country. We continue to challenge that, and I can guarantee you that if we don't give up, they will give up. One important thing I want you to know is that giving up is not an option for us. That on the side, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to make a final comment on an issue that has been lingering on the minds of the people. Yes, recently I came out and communicated to all of you who are having a big question of what is going to happen next after the blatant falsification of all the results that came out of the 14th January election. Many views, thank you very much, comrade. Many views were coming our way. On one side, many Ugandans were disagreeing with going to court. They argued, and we agreed with them, that the courts of law have for a long time come off as compromised. Even with the rigging of the 2011 election, with everything that the world was seeing, the courts ruled the way they ruled and upheld General Museveni's rigged election, rigged victory. The same thing happened in 2016 as petitioned by Honorable Amama Mbabazi. So there was every argument on their side for us not to go to court. In any case, they argued that we would further be giving a stamp of legitimacy on General Museveni's rule. However, on the other side, other Ugandans were arguing that since we had given the same precedent of believing in the power of the people, but most importantly, putting the truth before their eyes, and also arguing that our biggest weapon has always been exposure. There is so much hope now because there are many more Ugandans that have actually been exposed in the politics of the country. Many more Ugandans have picked interest in the way their country is being run. That is why you are seeing this massive change that is being fought by guns. So they thought that it's important for us to continue, one, pursuing every last legal option. And therefore, they argued that even though it is clear that our courts of law have been showing signs of fear and compromise, they said, and we agreed with them, that it's important to put our judiciary at a test. Even when we know that General Museveni has historically intimidated the judiciary, as it was noted by the former Chief Justice, Professor Kanyehamba, we said that we want to once again, one, demonstrate ourselves as a group of people who believe in the rule of law, but most importantly, as people who want to put to test every last legal step. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hereby once again announce that we, as a national unity platform that I lead, have decided to petition the Supreme Court of Uganda. We yesterday filed our petition, Presidential Election Petition number 1 of 2021. We are taking General Museveni to court. We are taking the NRM to the Supreme Court of Uganda. Note that our hope is in the courts of law. Like we've said, our hope is in the people of Uganda. People power is our power. We mentioned it in the beginning that we knew that Mr. Byabakama was acting biased. But we decided to put that institution to a test. And everybody was able to see everything. We are yet again putting the judiciary at a test. We want to be remembered as a group of people that pursued every legal challenge, every legal redress to the letter Z. And that is why we are going to the Supreme Court. So, allow me to also inform you that we are very, very confident. We are very confident because we were able to gather a substantial amount of declaration of results forms, something that we have not seen in the past. Everything that happened on the campaign trail, everything that is in our petition was actually seen and witnessed by the entire country, if not the entire world. So everything that we are saying, we are not cooking it, or the public is not going to hear it for the first time. They saw it happening, they followed the entire story, and now we are presenting this story to the Supreme Court. And we want to see if our Supreme Court can actually stand on the side of justice. That is the step that we are taking. I want you, ladies and gentlemen, to look at this as part of the entire plan. We told you before that our plan is one, removing a dictator. This plan is going to have many parts and many episodes and many phases, and we are heading to yet another phase of our struggle. We have told you before that much as we are many and young and energetic, we despise violence, and we decided not to use violence. We are going to use non-violence, we are going to use the law, and we are going to remove a dictator. If there's justice in this country, then it is either going to show itself or expose itself in this case. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bide mu Luganda. Mwebale nnyo basebo ne banyabo banamawulire. Tubeebaza buli otusinkana olw'okutuwanga omukisa oconnecting ebirowoozo byaffe n'ebyabannayuganda bannaffe abali wano mu Uganda n'ebweru bw'eggwanga. Nja kukulisaayo bannaffe mwenna bakandideti baffe abataayitamu olw'ensonga emu oba endala. Manyi bulungi nti abamu temwayitamu kuba mwawangulwa. Manyi bulungi nti abasinga ku mmwe temwayitamu kubanga mwabbibwa. Bangi ku mmwe nzize nsinkana nammwe abalala ne mundagane ku declaration of results forms zonna naye ng'oluvannyuma lwa byonna temwalangirirwa. Ekyo nno kye kimu ku biraga obubbi bwonna obwaliwo nga tebwakoma ku mutendera gwa MP nga bwatuuka ne ku level ya president. Naye twabategeeza nti bannaffe bangi baali batubuuza ekiddako, naye ekiddako engeri gye tukijja mu bantu era twagenda maaso ne twebuuza ku bannaffe bangi nga balowooza nti okugenda mu kooti kuyinza okuba okumala obudde kubanga mwami Museveni bamanyi nti kooti yabawa emirimu bonna abalamuzi era ababalamuzi tebayinza musalira musango ne bw'abanga yali mu bukyamu. Ne batutegeeza nti bazze bakiraba kuva ku Dr. Besigye Amama Mbabazi emisango gyali girina okusazaamu okulonda okwo naye tebakusazaamu. Ne batutegeeza n'otutegeeza nti tujja kubanga aba wa stamp ya approval oba bakkiriza mwami Museveni n'enkola ye ey'obumenyi bw'amateeka singa tugenda mu kooti. Naye ate bannaffe abalala ne baleeta endowooza nti newankubadde bamanyi nti ekooti ebiseera bingi eba teyetengeredde naye tulina okubeera era ne tulabibwa ng'abantu abakkiririza mu mateeka newankubadde abo balina okukuuma amateeka omuli poliisi n'ebitongole ebirala baba tebagakuumye. Ne batujjukiza nti twagenda mu kulonda nga tumanyi nti mwami Byabakama gwe tumanyi clearly nti mukozi wa Museveni eyali asala ogw'okulonda. Naye ne tugenda mu kulonda kubanga obwesigwa bwaffe tebwali mu mwami Byabakama naye nga buli mu maaso g'abantu. Wadde mwami Byabakama alina bye yayogera, bannayuganda balina kye baalaba era balina kye bamanyi. N'olw'ensonga eyo ne bateesa era ne tukkaanya nabo nti kiba kikulu ffe nga bakkiriza mu mateeka okumalayo buli mutendera ogw'amateeka. Tufunemu ebintu bibiri. Ekooti esazeemu okulonda kuno ne mwami Museveni bamuwere okwesimbawo bwe banga ekooti ebala mazima. Ebyo by'ebimu ku bye tusabye ekooti. Era nga tumanyi nti ekooti bw'eba esala mazima ejja kusala mazima ago nga bwe kyakolebwa Kenya juzi, nga bwe kyakolebwa Malawi ku juzi, si gwe mulundi ogenda okubanga gusoose. Naye ate ngera tumanyi nti ekooti bw'eteesale mazima ng'abangi bwe bayinza okulowooza kibeere nga kiri ku yo kubanga omulundi ogusoose bannayuganda bagoberera buli ekigenda maaso ekitabaddeyo bulijjo. Kwe kusalawo basebo ne bannyabo nti tutwale omusango mu kooti ensukulumu eya Uganda era tubategeeza nti twawaabye omusango olunaku lwajjo nga mu nnaku 40 ekooti erina okutegeeza abannayuganda kyesazeewo. Kino tukikoze kuba tulina obukakafu bungi nnyo, tulina evidence nyingi nnyo. Buli kimu kye twataddewo bwe kuba kugoberera amazima tusuubira ekooti enkulu okusazaamu okulonda kuno. Kooti bwe neba tegoberedde ekyo tugitadde mu maaso g'abantu bannayuganda bagenda kuba bagyolese amaaso nga bwe gwatunulira mwami Byabakama era ebigezo ebyo n'abigwa. Ekooti nayo eri ku kigezo mu maaso g'abannayuganda okulaga oba ekolera bannayuganda oba esala mazima na bwenkanya oba ekolera mwami Museveni. Tulowooza nti kikulu nnyo okubayita abasebo ne bannyabo ne tukibategeeza ekyo. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. In a new Uganda. People power. Our power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. NUP. Mbarara. NUP. Give a comment about our comrades that are in jail in Chitalia and many other known and unknown detention centers. Many of you saw some of our comrades, like our Secretary General said, they could not walk when they came to court. They've lost their rights. Their hair has been shaved off. Interestingly, they are being treated even worse than non-Ugandans, because I was informed that while Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe and all others were subjected to compulsory hair and beard shaving even against their will, the non-Ugandans, some of them white and others Indians, are actually remaining with their right to maintain their hair. That is very, very disturbing to see that there is discrimination against our own selves in our own prisons. Also, to add my voice on the call against the ongoing Panda Gari, the ongoing notorious drone cars that go around picking our people, the same notorious vehicles that picked Selector David from his house, detained him for more than 3 weeks, incognito, and many others. We condemn that. We remind Ugandans that Panda Gari is back. What we used to dread in the stories about the Idi Amin regime are back and worse than they used to be. But we stand firm and we know that we are going to defeat all this evil. Mu Luganda, njagala ogatte eddoboozi lyange agaalaze okunyolwa olw'abannaffe abali makomera ag'enjawulo agamanyiddwa n'agatamanyiddwa. Olunaku lwajjo bannaffe Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe ne ttiimu yonna baleeteddwa mu kooti. Kyanaku titebaweereddwa mukisa kweyimirirwa. N'ate kyanaku nnyo twategezebwa ti bannaffe omuli Nubian Lee, Eddie Mutwe, Denmark n'abalala baabamwako enviiri mu buwaze nga tebeesimidde, ekintu ekimenya amateeka ekityobola eddembe lyabwe ery'obuntu. Ekyongera okwennyamiza nti bwe baali abo okubamwako enviiri n'ebirevu mu buwaze, bannaffe abalala abatali bannayuganda omuli abazungu n'abayindi bo balekerwa eddembe lyabwe, bo tebasalibwako nviiri. Ekyo nno kya nnaku okulaba nti waliwo okusosolegana, waliwo okusosola bannayuganda nga basosolebwa mu nsi yaabwe, nga waliwo eddembe bo lye batasobola kweyagaliramu. N'okwongera eddoboozi lyange mu kuvumirira okubuzaawo abantu okugenda mu maaso nga kukolebwa amagye. Emmotoka kati ezimanyiddwa ennyo nga zi drone ezigenda ziwamba abantu ne babuzibwawo, abamu nga bazuulibwa nga batulugunyiziddwa nnyo, abalala tebaddamu kulabika. Ze mmotoka ze zimu ezajja ne ziwamba Selector Devi ne bamukolako okutulugunya okw'ekika ekyawaggulu. Tukivumirira, tujjukiza bannayuganda mwenna ti Panda Gari yakomyewo. Bye twasomanga mu butabo oba bye twawuliranga mu mboozi z'abakadde baffe eza Panda Gari kati yakomyewo, era tulina kwerwanako ffe nga bannayuganda okukomya ebikolobero ebifaanana bwe bityo. There was also a question about the letter that I wrote to the NBS TV protesting their biased nature and their compromising nature in reporting about the elections. First and foremost, I want to remind you that that was a protest letter, and in my own analysis and the analysis of my team, that is the most decent, brotherly and human thing that we could do to communicate our dissatisfaction. So I stand by every word in that letter, and I reassert it that we have it as a policy, as a value, to be clear and be assertive whenever anybody is wrong. If we can call General Museveni to order, we can call anybody to order, and we remind all Ugandans he can and must also be called to order. That is what we believe. When you are wrong, no matter who you are. Commission declared that nobody had the right to have a tally center or even to announce results. While everybody else was tallying, we still ask questions why and how NBS TV retained their right to have a tally center, which they through. But most importantly, how and where did they get those results they were laying? Those are questions that deserve answers. So we still stand by our opinion of the people of Uganda illegally and unconstitutionally. With all due respect, that was wrong, it is wrong now, and it will be wrong. Our corporate bodies that have been used by dictatorships to defeat the will of the people have many times paid the price of their wrongdoing. soon or later. So we remind you that we wrote that letter in full due respect and with love. We did not call for any protest against NBS TV. We did not call upon, we did not call for anybody have suffered the brutality of the regime in the line of duty. We respect them as journalists. We know they have some of the journalists' values, but again, we assert that the media station was used illegally and wrongly, and the most decent thing they could do is to apologize to Ugandans because they were wrong. Jenawandikira TV ya NBS ngamba tusako okwemulugunya. Ebaluwa eyo twagiwandika mu buntu bulamu, twagiwandika ekitiibwa era twagiwandika mu mukwano, kubanga tumanyi ne media ezanye ekitundu kinene nnyo kununula abantu n'okubeera n'obukulembeze obulungi. Era twagibawandikira kubanga ne bwe gabagana tuleetera obuzibu tewali gwe tugenda butagamba mazima, buli omu ekinga yabyogera. Bano abayekera